Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe on my page. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and leave your question in the comment section. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a herringbone stitch and Allen stitch. They have other names for it, like I believe the herringbone or the Allen stitch could be named a block stitch. I'm not sure exactly. I'm still learning about the new techniques of sewing beadwork and stuff. So this is one that I done there the other night, and then last night I done this here little piece. So we're going to be finishing the other purple rim earring, and I'm starting a new one with the light blue. My goal right now is to teach you how, I don't know why I put that away. Today I'm teaching you how to start this. So all of this is herringbone stitch, but when we get to the shoulder and the sleeve part, that will be Allen stitch. It's only a small part of Allen stitch that I'll be teaching you. This here is an Allen stitch, and it's just basically 2 beads on top of 2 beads, and you're sewing them down. So brick stitching. Here it is, Allen stitch. So the Allen stitch, you basically take 4 beads, put them on a string, and then you come back and sew into the first 2. And then when you sew the first 2, it'll automatically go into a brick like this. So you're sewing down and then up 2, and then you add 2 more, sew that down, and you keep doing this procedure. And that's what you call an Allen stitch. I'm teaching you to make these because September, I think it's September 30th, is the day that we honor the residential school survivors. So this is for mainly a good cause. I make these and I sell these $15 a pair. And I figure it'd be a good cause to teach people how to make their own instead of people going out and buying some. I mean, I could use the money, sure, but it's such a good cause that I think that it'd be best if I teach you how to make these orange little shirts. They started a few years ago just by making the pins. So a lot of people will make the little pins that you put on your jacket or your shirt. And this one here is a $25 little pin that I have. And so these here are $15 for the earrings. So with that, let's get started. So how I started, I put 8 beads to start the frame, the rim. And I just want to get you a little closer. There we go. Because this is an easy piece to make, really is, and you have to be particular with what beads you choose. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? I put a little stopper bead on, and that soon enough will get unraveled as we're doing. So you put 8 beads on the string, and my method is when you get down to the last bead, you flip it around, and the last bead you put on always turns into your first bead when you have to flip it around. So here we're starting the bottom rim of the shirt, and we have to put another blue, and then we go into the orange after this. So let's get another blue bead on there. So let me fix my phone because I want to make sure that it's on there right. Okay, so now that we've taken the 8 beads, like I said, your last bead becomes your first. So we're going to start off with the first one. And this first bead that you have, you go to the very bottom and you sew it through to the top. And you're going to notice this bead, if I can get this untangled now. What a way to start off, eh? There. Okay. What a mess. If I can get this right, I'll be alright. So here we go. Now we have 2 beads side by side. You'll notice that once you get your bead, it automatically pops into place. Sometimes it doesn't. You might have to jiggle it a little just to get it just right. So that's the first part of beginning stage of your rim. Now I just gotta make sure that my thread is, just bear with me for a second here. I just want to make sure that this is not going to tangle up again. I'm using Nymo thread, size 11 beading needle. These here are, these beads are called Japanese cut beads. I don't know if they have another name. I've been teaching myself a lot about the beads, which, as before, I never cared what size they were as long as they worked. I've been beading for 20 years and I really didn't educate myself well. So, as far as I know, these here are Japanese cut beads, and that's all you really need. Is they're size 11. And you just need Nymo thread and a beading needle. You could use size 11 or size 12 beading needles for this kind of job. So once you sew the piece on, then you have to make sure you go down the first bead that you sewed on there. So it's up and then down to get ready for your next bead. I'm only going to show you a couple of rows, and then we're going to immediately go to I have another set already ready for us to do the sleeves, and I could teach you the Allen stitch. So I'm just going to go through a couple of rows on this just to show you and see how it's not completely leveled. You might have to jiggle it a little. And grab my needle. Sometimes it could turn into a heap of trouble when you first start off. But you see how it's like slantwards? I know my phone is a little blurry. Maybe I should have cleaned the screen. Maybe that's what. I need to get myself a new phone. So you just keep on working each bead in. And you go up one from the bottom. And then Always be aware of your thread. Because as you're going down, your thread can get caught up on top here. You have to be aware of your threading all the time. So I just give it a little tug just to tighten it in place. And see what I mean? It goes right on top. You don't want that to get caught up and then notice it later on. Oops. And that just pops right into place like so. You just have to keep the system. My system, I find, is working great for me. So you could follow my system, find your own way. The job will get done. See how that just pops into place? Sorry for the blurriness. I think it's my phone. I don't know if my screen is dirty. I should have wiped it down before I started. See, there's probably other methods that are faster and easier. I saw this one where you place them the whole row and you sew back and forth, back and forth. I haven't been that confident to do it that way yet. Okay, what did I do? Okay, it's okay. So you sew up one, make sure you follow through and complete the sew by going down to set up your next bead. And I give it a little tug every now and then just to secure it, and then I pull this way and it pushes that bead automatically upwards. And the next one. I probably put too much thread on this, but it's always good to have too much instead of having little and then trying to rethread, because one of the things with these beads, you're lucky to get through them 3 times. This here's one. Well, actually it's 2, because this is when I sew through it, this here's already gone it through twice already. I went through that twice. You're lucky to get through them 3 times, and sometimes you're lucky if you can go 4 without busting them. It gets so tight in the bead from all the thread that you can actually crack your bead by putting the needle in it a few times more than it should. So you want to make sure that it's not going to happen that way. And already with the, like, I just taught myself the other night how to do this, and I've already learned through experience that once you get the first 2 rows done, it's always good to put an extra threading in. So now we did the last orange bead. We're going to put the last blue bead in for the frame. This is the last bead. Oops. Okay, try to get it in there. There. So there's the frame. The bottom frame is done. Now, just to be on a safe measure, because you won't be able to come back down here once it's completed. It's going to be a lot to come from up here and zigzag way down here to secure these last 2 rows. So I learned through experience already from those few that I've already made that while I'm down here, I'm going to do this. And I've never done this before, so... But I learned through experience from those few that I've already made that it's always best to give it a nice secure line. By putting an extra secured line in there. And that way, if this ball comes undone, these beads are not going to become loose at all. Okay, oops. Alrighty, I need to use this, so this is worrisome. I hope I can still get through these beads. Like I said, you don't want to go through them more than a few times because of the fact that they can bust. So if you guys witness me busting one, it's gonna be devastation. So now we can start. Like I said, the last bead becomes your first, so this here becomes the top, and you start on your next. There, it snaps right into place. I always have to turn off my phone, not my phone, my TV when I make these videos because the background noise. I did a video on making something and YouTube had deleted my video because the background noise had some kind of music playing. And yeah, and you can't have any music playing in the background unless it's your own music that you made. Don't have the rights. So that's why it's very quiet in the background. So you see, it's not so bad. It's just worrisome because these beads, you can, like I said, you can only go through them 3 times. You're lucky if you can get them through 3 times, so. Oh no. No. Shucks, there's a knot in my thread. Oh, I hope I can get this through. Please, please. There. And That's going to be worrisome right there, because there's a knot. Use this needle. So now you're going to witness a little operation to get this knot out. Come on. Oh, goodness. Yep, gotta work it. There. I just did it. Doggy, that was hard. It's easy to get your stuff all knotted up. It's how you come through it is the question. So I went up through one bead, and now I gotta complete the bead, the sewing action, by going down. Let me fix this camera. Oops. Sorry. Ooh. Like I said, give it a little tug after every bead you do. Give it a tiny little tug, not too hard. You don't want to stress out the thread. Fire line I've never used. I have never once used fire line. In fact, oops, on this guy. Didn't even need it. Ah. There we go. Trying to keep the phone still, and my thread keeps catching on to the corner here. This, as you go along, gets easier because the frame is starting, the structure's starting to get stronger as it goes along. What I was saying before, fire line is very good for, like, to keep in your structure for a long time. And what I use is clear nail polish, and you give your earrings, if you have anything that doesn't have any support and it's just supporting it itself, like the thread is supporting this structure, so you want to give it a coat of clear nail polish. Make sure it's clear. I had did a earring once, and the clear nail polish that I had a tint of pink. Excuse me. And it turned my beads color. It was pretty. It was a pretty color that it changed it to. So it was a nice little mistake. And here we go. Oh, this feels tight. Oh no. This is gonna break. I could just feel it. It's gonna break the friggin'... Now, drop my tweezers. Here we go. Please don't break on me. Oh, thank goodness. Alright, so... And now you're ready to flip her over and start on this side. And now I won't have any issues with tight beads at all, because all this is done and over with. It should be clear sailing from here, I hope. I spoke too soon. That was easy to get out, thank goodness. Follow through. Complete the sewing action. And now I'm ready for the orange. So you got the picture of how the structure should start. And there. So I'm just going to leave that here, because you do this for 8, you make 8 rows, 8 long rows. And let me put this aside. And this is what it'll look like. Well, it's a different color. Like I said, I'm completing a set of beads. And now I'm going to teach you an Allen stitch. I showed you earlier what the Allen stitch is. So what we're going to make is the bottom piece, those 2 beads right there, that orange and black right there. Like, cover this up and then cover that. These 2 little beads is what we're going to be making to start off the sleeve part of your art. And like, all of this is herringbone stitch, but now we're going to do a bit of Allen stitch. And I believe it's orange, and then your color, which would be in this case purple. And then you go down to this bead right here, the second bead. And these 2 will actually interlock like that, be on top of each other side by side. And then you go up through this and the orange. And there you have it. That's the start. And you can see that they're they're diagonal facing each other, kind of. That'll straighten out. Now we have the frame of the sleeve, which is these two top beads here in the corner. So in this case it would be purple. So 2 purple. This time, this is where it gets tricky. Like I said, these beads can only take a few times going through them before they become like super tight, and it's a possibility you could snap them. So this here's the risk that you have to take. So here we have the 2 on top, and you know what I did? I shouldn't even have to gone through that 3rd one down. Oh well, let's see what happens. I hope I didn't make a mistake. We could have went down to the 2nd one here and then gone through. But I think I'm just gonna go with it. Seems like it's still loose enough. And it worked. So, on this note, it worked out great. But now, we have to continue on with the sleeving part, and now we go back into herringbone. So, pick up 1 purple for the rim of your frame. And then an orange. We do 3 oranges. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Thank goodness it worked already. Snaps right into place. Finish off your threading. Next bead. Snaps in place beautifully. I always put my finger on the tip so that the thread doesn't get caught up here. Now purple. And there you have it. Now we turn it over. Your last bead comes your first. This time we're going to be doing all purple for the edge of the shoulder. Purple. And last purple. Okay, so now that is all done. I hope I can get through. No problem. And with that, I'm just going to go right into this framework and see how that just smoothly goes in, no problem. So now we got the one shoulder done. Now we're going to do the other one. Here, we're going to do the Allen stitch or block stitch. So I just picked up an orange and a purple. The orange came first and then the purple. And then you go into the second bead. And they're just going to come on top like that. You go back in through the orange, the purple and the orange. And there, she's in there. Now 2 purple. And we're going to go down through all of them again. And there. That's the end of the Allen stitch. And now we're going to finish off with herringbone. Now it's purple, and now 3 oranges. I'm not crazy how that, there it goes. Wasn't crazy how that was sitting. Uh-oh. I did something here. Whew, that was scary. I went up through these 2 beads right here at the end. I just needed to go through one. And that was the orange. Okay, come on. I like how it snaps into place. Like when you're sewing, it just snaps right in where it's supposed to. Like as if it belonged there the whole time. This is going to be tricky. Because remember, I went through this lane already. Oh, thank goodness. It's always a gamble when you have to go through them a few times because you don't want to snap your bead, especially this far along in your project. Now I'm ready for a purple. Now I turn it over and I'm ready for the last row, which is the frame. The last part is the shoulder. The very last bead. Hallelujah. Okay, if I can just manage this. And now I just want to finish off. I go through the other row and then I come back up and finish the last two on that row. Okay, so now I am ready to put the hook on. Everybody has their own way of putting a hook on, but I always found this way more effective, and I always come back with pliers and I make sure this loop is really closed, because when you lift up this ball, if that was loose, the thread can actually come through that, and I don't want that to happen. So this is what I do. I just hold it in place and I come through the hoop and I go through that, one and then two. Make sure that's down there. One, two, and three. So now that that's on there, I'm ready to go through all these. I didn't even have to go through all of them, but I did anyways. It's too tight to go through that. That's what I did. Went through the wrong. Thank goodness it came right out. All right. And there you have it. That is all done. It's done. So that's cute. Oops. 2 sets of earrings done. Now we just got this blue to finish. So I have 2 sets done and completed. Aren't they cute? Alright, so that is the herringbone stitch and a little bit of Allen stitch. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Share the video if you like. And have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you.